Why did that sound like Luke?
So what?
It sounded
Alexa,
like Luke.
get
Luke
your
for a
shit
second.
together.
What's up, y'all?
What's
Are we
up?
live?
How's it going? Yeah, we're live.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Because you were already live, so we just transitioned.
It's called a
Yeah, we just
soft
transitioned over.
intro.
Yeah, it's called a flaccid intro.
Give me one of them limp dick intros.
The limp intro.
I had an art pen once upon a time, and I can't find. Oh, never mind. End of story. I'm good, man. How's everybody else?
Wait, that was it?
Was it? Did you win?
I thought you were gonna give us.
I had an art pen.
It rolled very far away.
Draws on his camera.
Did you guys win your game?
No, we didn't.
Yeah, it was all for nothing.
Yeah, we were third though. We kind of got we made one improper rotation and got gate kept.
Yep, we walked into a group that had the higher ground and just continued
And zone.
and zone, yeah, and just continued to shoot at us as we tried to get in a safe spot. We downed one, and I should have downed a second, but for whatever reason, I've been bad at this game all day.
It's okay, man. Yeah, it's not bad. I think we're do better in ranked right now.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Jabril said, geez, about time. Tech, he also likes your higher angle. What's up, everybody? It's Bounty Board.
Thank you.
It's May 20th. It's fucking May 20th. God. But yeah, it's the 93rd episode of Bounty Board, your favorite video game podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Caleb Lubwub. You can see my gamer tag and Twitter handle above me. To my south is the Sketch Sawyer. What's up?
Hello.
To my southeast is Tech Supreme.
Tech Supreme.
Hi, everybody.
Love it. And to my direct east is Sergeant Sodium.
Hello.
Hello, yes. Yeah. We're talking about games. We've been playing a lot of Apex the last couple of days, Tech and I, and we haven't won a game, and it feels really bad.
It feels dreadful.
It feels really
But
bad.
you know, there's good games in there, and there's really good kills in there.
Man, we had a
But
game where
our-
like you had 5 kills and I had 4 kills, and we both had over 1,000 damage, and we still didn't fucking win.
Yeah. Somebody with 200 damage won.
Some asshole who fired one shot. But it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
I have the problem where I frequently forget to use abilities.
Which is a really big problem.
And the last time that happened, Tech turned to toxicity to remind me.
LB
Caleb-
does something.
Caleb
He was
said,
like,
I had a feeling there was a team in these buildings, and I said, well, it would have been amazing if one of us had a character with a click of a button can scan the buildings and reveal everyone's location, and he was Bloodhound.
Yeah, it was. I'm not proud of it. All right.
It hurt.
Oh, well.
It definitely hurt.
Oh, phooey. Tough enough.
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. Because I knocked 2, and the last one got me with like no health left. Yeah, it happens.
It happens.
So yeah,
So Ryan, you got home from work recently, took a shower, and this
Thanks
has
about
nothing.
that shower.
How was
Yeah.
that?
Today in the news, we talk about Ryan's shower.
The hot
I washed
topic.
my privates.
The
Have you ever
hot-
had?
That's it.
Have you ever had a beer in the shower?
No.
It's great. You should try it.
Hey,
No.
Ben, did I tell you there's a commercial on? I think it was like a Miller Lite commercial that just specifically talked about beer
Yeah.
showers.
Yeah.
I never knew it was a thing, but it's
Yeah.
kind of amazing.
It's catching on. It's great. The flavor of your beer changes. You can have the most watered down, normal ass beer, and it'll taste like a freaking vanilla milkshake or something. It's really weird. Yeah. I'm serious. The taste changes. I guess I don't know. It's awesome. I only do it in extreme circumstances, like, and this is as extreme as my lifestyle gets. After mowing the lawn, that's pretty extreme. But like,
I've
if
had
I'm
a
just
very
like-
hard life.
That's right. But if I'm like,
I haven't
yeah,
had
if
a
I'm just
very hard life.
or if I spent, a few hours in the garage and I'm just dripping in sweat and covered in grease and grass or whatever, yeah, get in the
Just
shower.
rolling around in grease and grass, huh?
That's right.
In the garage.
Well,
In the garage. I'm like, what are you
Grassy
doing? Man stuff.
man stuff. Or like, I might do it tomorrow after my trip around the park. That would be perfect.
Yeah.
Not roll around in the grass. But I'm gonna throw a bunch of grass in my garage and then roll around it. Actually, my garage is tiled. So
That's awesome.
it's very clean. I sweep it every time I get home from a ride or something. It's very clean. It's very nice. Very.
You know how I
very
know
nice
I'm
to work in.
old? I want to cut my grass so bad, but it's been raining like every single day.
I did it today.
I had the wife do it today while I was at work because that's the only time that it didn't rain was today.
Wife, grass.
You know how
It
I
actually
know?
rained
You know
today
how I
where
know
I was.
Tech's old? It's the third time he started a sentence with that in the last 3 hours.
I'm feeling my age right now, dude.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
The,
you
the
kinda,
gym gives me mortality, and I miss it.
Sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, so anyway, I was making a segue, believe it or not, talking about Ryan taking a shower and washing himself.
Segway ruined.
Because Zack Snyder is going to attempt to wash his influence over Justice League and make it watchable for a lot of people on HBO Max.
He's gonna scrub that bitch.
Let me tell you what's gonna happen.
He's gonna-
Everyone's gonna watch it.
Scrub that bitch. Sorry, Tech, go ahead.
Everyone's gonna watch it, and everyone's gonna be like, it's trash. Just the way they did the original movie, and it's just gonna be that, and there's gonna be all this anticipation for nothing.
What if it's the opposite? What if it shows up and it's fucking incredible? And
I don't
we have
think it will be.
and we have to come to grips with the fact that Joss Whedon isn't perfect.
All right, but so you have
Well,
to.
Joss Whedon is not perfect already. What he did with Avengers.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So you have to know, looking at movies that could have been saved in the edit, like Fantastic, which is Fantastic Four, but because they put the 4 in the logo, it looks like Fantastic. And then Suicide Squad. There are elements of the movies that are just bad, regardless of what order you see them, right?
Yeah.
So like, there are elements of Justice League that might not be redeemable, regardless of what order you put it in or adding a new scene or whatever. But I do appreciate Zack Snyder's previous films, so I don't know. Plus, he's had how many years since it came out worth of feedback, and he's not immune to all the negativity out there. So he might have come at it with a new lens, right?
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But not like
he
they're
said in
gonna
the
do.
interview. It's going to be different.
Okay, so he did a whole bunch of shoots that didn't get included. Is that right?
I think so.
Yeah,
It
every
had-
movie's got like hours worth of extra footage usually. Just about.
Okay, what if this changes public perception of the movie, and all of a sudden they go back to like, oh, Batman as Ben Affleck might work, and Superman with Henry Cavill might work.
Yeah.
They could.
Sure.
They could, because technically Matt Reeves' Batman takes place in the 90s.
Yeah.
So Ben Affleck's Batman could still be him.
Mm-hmm.
Just 20 years.
You're not going to be able to
30 years
convince
later.
Ben though. He's out. There's no way.
There's that one interview with Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck, and you could see in his face the
yeah, he's just
defeat.
like,
He was so
He's
sad.
so defeated.
it's awful.
Yeah, it's very bad.
But these movies drove him to alcoholism, so he quit the superhero movies for his health. So,
I mean,
yeah.
there's not. I don't know a genre in the movie world with fans that insane, right? With that die hard,
There
that
aren't any.
opinionated.
no.
Like there's like
Star Wars.
rom-com fans,
Oh, yeah,
Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Comic
that's-
book and
Star
Star
Trek-
Wars fans.
Even Star Trek fans are more forgiving. A whole series comes out, it's not for them. They're just like, this series isn't for me, and they'll go watch the series that they like.
Yo, you want to
Yeah.
know what the thing
Because
is?
Trekkies are smarter than Star Wars fans.
No,
Yeah.
it's not even that.
Yes.
It's not even that.
Yeah.
It's true though.
It might not
true,
be,
though.
but it is.
No, you know what it is straight up is it's the time effect, right? Like Doctor Who has been around for like 70 years. So when one's bad, you've got a lot of other shit to watch and you can get over it. Star Trek is like 60 years old. Like if one's bad, you've got 12 different runs and 6 movies that you can whatever, there's a ton. Star Wars only has one saga and it's only 9 films. There's not 60 years of television. And
9 films is a lot.
it's not when you look at a 45-minute show that's been running for 65 years.
Well, no, the show, okay, but each...
But this is what I'm saying is like the fans of the MCU,
is-
the fans of
I
the
agree with Taylor.
More Star
DCEU,
Trek.
the fans of Star Wars have less material to say, I don't need that, I've got all this.
Yeah, I agree with that. The pressure's on Star Wars because they have a small funnel of opportunity for the fans. Like they have
Yeah.
a very small funnel of information they can give fans. Star Trek has 60 years, dude. You can say Deep Space Nine is trash, but I love Next Generation and be completely fine with it.
Yeah.
Voyager or anything, even the new ones, which I didn't even watch.
Yeah.
Card, like I didn't see that, but
Yeah. There's years and years of
makes sense.
extra Star Trek and extra other stuff. And so like the DC movies and Marvel movies and Star Wars movies have an uphill battle because they've got a young and very fresh memoried fan base that
at the same time, the source material is just as old, if not older. So that pressure is not as intense as if they had these stories to create for the comic books.
I would agree with that until you see how people react about the DC movies, right? Like, yeah, there's like 60 years of Batman comics, but when Batman's bad on screen, people fucking devour him.
But when has he been bad on films outside of the what's the guy's name, George Clooney? Like, when has he been bad?
Oh, George Clooney.
Yeah, that was the bad one.
Yeah, I don't know why Ben Affleck caught so much flack.
He didn't deserve it because if you look at it micro, he did a great job.
Yeah, look
in and of itself. Yeah, like he was a great Bruce Wayne. I mean, the shit first time you see him, he's running towards as Bruce Wayne. He's running towards a building collapsing.
Yeah.
Like
he's Batman.
I think his thing was that there's a lot of people that hate Ben Affleck, so it's just like fuck that guy as Batman. Yep. Like
they were like he was such a bad Daredevil.
This Batman sucks because it's Ben Affleck. Like,
we're getting that. We're getting that with Robert Pattinson too.
Yep.
Twilight Boy, like no, just like Ben Affleck wasn't
sparkle
only
on screen. I'm gonna be very upset.
Yeah, just because Ben Affleck wasn't.
His performance might sparkle.
If he cries, that'd be great.
Why?
A little dramatic cry.
If he has a wolf sidekick, I'm gonna lose my mind.
I don't want Robert Pattinson's Batman to cry because the only instance I can see Batman crying in a movie is if he sees his parents die again, and I'm tired of that shit. We're moving on. We don't need that anymore. We don't need origin stories anymore. Speaking of movies, Netflix is loading a fuck ton of them into its service starting in June, including, and I'm not going to read through all these because it's fucking ridiculous, but we're getting Starship Troopers. We're getting V for Vendetta back, I guess. All Dogs Go to Heaven, because I know Ben's been waiting for that one to come on there. Act of Valor, fucking Priest, Observe and Report, The Boy, a ton of shit on June 1st. And then on top of that, we're also going to be getting Zodiac, which, I mean, if you need, we were talking about Jake Gyllenhaal recently somewhere.
That movie's absolutely phenomenal.
That movie's great.
It seems left out usually when people are talking about Fincher, but it shouldn't be. It's phenomenal.
No, it's very good. We're also getting the last season of 13 Reasons Why. We're getting season 5 of Queer Eye. Lots of stuff. So everyone who's still at home, you got a lot of stuff coming to Netflix in a few short days. Take-Two Interactive. This is actually kind of fucking crazy. Take-Two Interactive has a lot of shit planned for the next 3 years. But for those of you,
93 games.
For those of you unfamiliar, because 93 games sounds ridiculous. So Take-Two has said there are 93 games planned by March 2025, including 15 ports from current gen platforms to next gen platforms.
That still leaves 63.
Yeah.
It says of these, 63 are core gaming experiences.
17.
Take-Two
new launch platforms.
Take-Two's huge.
Take-Two has big companies, like
Take-Two's,
big game developers underneath them.
Yeah, Take-Two is Rockstar.
Games.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry,
like that's a lot of games.
Yeah.
Take-Two, Rockstar, 2K Games, Private Division, and Social Point. What's that? What's Social Point?
I don't know what Social Point is. Private Division is Disintegration and Outer Worlds. 2K Games is all the sports games.
Social Point's mobile.
Okay, and then Rockstar is Red Dead, Grand Theft Auto, obviously. We're going to get a GTA 6 this generation. We're going to get a Red Dead remaster. I imagine we're going to get a Bully game, I think. I don't know how they're going to do that, actually, because the world's kind of turned on Bully as a concept.
Jeez, I don't care.
People love that game.
Holy jeez, I don't care about
People love that game.
Yeah, great.
We'll come back to it because it's part of a nostalgic conversation, right? And then finally in news today, and this is bananas, it caught me completely by surprise. I brought up a couple times that the Mafia trilogy was teased in the last couple weeks. Well, they got formally announced with actual footage, and they were available to download as soon as the trailer ended.
I love it when people do that shit, man.
So you can get Mafia 2 Definitive Edition and Mafia 3 Definitive Editions. Mafia 2 with a reskin, remaster, now. And then in August, Mafia, or the original game, the Definitive Edition, is going to be coming out. And it's not just a remaster, it's a ground-up remake, like Resident Evil 2. So it's going to have all the things from the game, but they rebuilt it with new systems, a whole new engine. It's in a whole new engine. It's got to have new dialogue, new cutscenes, new features.
Looks good, man.
It does. And from the things that I've read, they are some of the best Mafia crime story games you can play. So, like, getting all 3 for $50 isn't terrible.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah. So
might get that on PlayStation. See if Kim's into it. She likes crime dramas.
Yeah, what's wrong with crime dramas? They're pretty great. They're pretty great. I mean, that's
see.
Yeah, see. Meh. But speaking of remasters and remakes, that's something that's happening a lot recently, and only recently have I had my first. Not emotional. I haven't had an emotional response to one yet, but the first response where I was like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna play that with Tony Hawk." And so I have a question for y'all. Does nostalgia work on you?
I will say a very small fraction. Very small.
Well, can you define that fraction? Like, what does it have to what boxes does it have to tick text boxes?
I think we've advanced so much in technology that it's difficult for my current technology brain to enjoy
Stuff
the
that looks like
degradation
shit.
of the game. And it will bring me back, if I play it, it will bring me back to that point in life, right? We played GoldenEye at this arcade bar, and it did bring me back to like the college years and my friends then, and us like huddled around TVs playing this game. But the actual experience of the game was not fun. It was just trash. Like,
screen split 4 ways.
Yeah, it basically makes me feel like we like this. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like,
it was all we had back then. So
yeah, it was man, this is great, but I don't want to play it anymore.
Yeah. And a few games it works well with, right? Like if I can go play Tetris and have a ball, right?
Yeah.
Timeless.
But I've played twin stick shooters, and when I pick up GoldenEye, I want to vomit. It's the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so for me, it doesn't hold up at all.
Okay.
But like it is fun in certain situations, right? Like we go to, Up Down Bar, and we're playing Ninja Turtles. We're playing, something that we used to play. That's fun. Legitimately fun. But if I'm at home, nothing. Like does nothing for me.
Yeah. Interesting. I wonder if that's the arcade like effect, right? If you're playing on a cabinet, is it okay that it looks meh because that's what arcade cabinets are? And can you imagine playing a photorealistic game on an arcade? I can't think of a photorealistic arcade cabinet.
No.
Nope.
So we just kind of do we just kind of dumb down our expectations and go, oh yeah, it's an arcade cabinet. Fuck it. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think it's certain games too. I think it's certain games that just don't hold up. Like Super Mario 3. I could play it today and have a good time.
Yep.
Simple.
Yep.
Right? Yep. I could play the Zelda, The Adventures of Link to whatever, The Legend of Zelda 91 and have a great time. Like and still enjoy it even though it's not great graphics. But if I play Pilot Wings, which I used to love as a kid, literal trash. Literal garbage.
Garbaggio.
I could play
Mario Kart still holds up. Like in
Mario
Kart, Super Smash Brothers, that kind of stuff. That stuff holds up. But then like
why Pilot Wings doesn't hold up?
It is clunky. It is.
That is.
Yeah, Pilot Wings was a game that I played as a kid that I loved.
Yeah,
like I loved it. And I played it on my Switch recently and crashed and burned every single time I tried. Like it was so clunky and just all over the place. I just hated it.
And you didn't want to get good, huh?
No. No, because if I want that,
all gone.
I can go get Ace Combat and have a better experience.
Yeah, sure. That's definitely better experience is probably
what's required for nostalgia to hold up. Why is it that some things last and some things don't?
I think I personally, I'm over talking. Last point.
You're fine.
I think it's because
sir. You can talk as much as you want.
I think it's because of actual quality of game
Yeah.
We just don't know it then, right? I love Madden
Right.
95, but I played it and it's not fun. But Tecmo Bowl is still fun. And back then, Madden 95 was greater than Tecmo Bowl. It was more popular. More people played it. I played it more. But Tecmo Bowl is more fun now just because the gameplay is just a little bit more fun.
Yeah, I think you're gonna run into that with games that you may not have realized it, like you said at the time, but they were ahead of their time, right?
Yeah.
Like I can still play NFL 2K5 and fuck with that game because it was the last 2K football game, and it was good.
I agree.
And it was good, and it's still fun. I played that game a couple years ago, and it was like the first time I'd played it in 6 or 7 years, and I saw a tackle I've never seen that I didn't think the game did. I was like, what? And I played that game so much as a kid. Well, yeah, I think the tech's onto something. Like, it's got to be something that's better than what it was than what was available.
Right.
Not just in like how much fun you had. Like the Halo games remastered, right? Halo 1 was like it was cool to go back, but that game's slow. That game is very slow. And while it was like outside of the box it was one of the first person shooters on console. Now that we've moved past that's not as stunning anymore. But Halo 2, which had a really, really good story for a first person shooter, still fucking slaps. And that game is really solid. Halo 3 is really solid. And those games stick around, I think, because they were pushing the envelope. They were doing something that first-person shooters didn't try to do very much. So, Ben, what's your take on nostalgia?
Well, I mean, I wrote a whole page of notes about it. It's multi-tiered, right? I think.
All right. Should we let Ryan go first?
I do
I'm kidding.
have
Go
a
ahead.
lot of questions for Ryan because
What?
I don't know your gaming history as much. But just to answer the question first, for me, it's everything. Everything is measured by what we've accomplished already. Everything is fun because it used to be fun in some more primitive fashion. Mario is still Mario because Mario was Mario at one point. Like Mario Maker is what Mario 3 was.
Yeah, sure.
Even Mario Galaxy is still
Toasters
what
don't
Mario
toast,
3
toast,
was.
toast.
Exactly. You know, Call of Duty's not that much different than Medal of Honor. Really, it's not. It's faster. There's perks and shit, but like twin stick shooters haven't evolved much. So we'll get more into that stuff. But for me, it's everything. I love all the games I'm playing lately. Feel like either a nod to nostalgia or just feels directly nostalgic. Like I played Jet Lancer this week, and that is just a pixel spaceship.
Now, do you mean
fighter jet shooter? You know, it just felt like they used the Super Nintendo's tool set, but boosted it 300%, and now it's faster or whatever.
Now,
and
do
then,
you mean nostalgia? I have one question. Are you lumping nostalgic and derivative together? Because saying everything is nostalgic to me doesn't really hit, because not everything reminds me of
I think
something
we
from
can break that
before,
down.
but stuff is definitely derivative.
Yeah, I mean, of course, everything is, right? Like,
Well, yeah,
and
most
one
things.
of the most, you know, because one of the topics is, you know, the infinite machine of sequels and remasters, right? That's what we're stuck in. It's like, oh, another Assassin's Creed, another Halo, another Division, another meh. It's always sequels. And like, oh, you don't want a sequel? How about a remaster? It's just like we're stuck in this machine. But that's always been there. But for me, nostalgia always motivates me for purchases like Jet Lancer, like Streets of Rage 4. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, but
right?
aren't these new games though? Like Jet Lancer, is that a new game?
That is,
Like
but
they
have
may
you
be
seen
using old technology. They might be
They're
using
not.
old technology. Like,
They're
I mean,
making
not
it look
technology,
old.
but like look.
an old art style? Yeah.
They're going for old art style. So is that the same? That's not the same as nostalgia. Like that, it may hit that tone because you like the art style, but that's not this.
You're not. I'm saying that I think I like the way Jet Lancer looks because it makes me feel like I'm playing Super Nintendo. It looks like a vintage video game. It looks retro.
Interesting. When I think of nostalgia in games, my brain goes to old games, not new games that look old.
Exactly.
Like
That's
to
my
me,
point.
Hyper Light
that's
Drifter
okay.
wasn't nostalgic. Hyper Light Drifter was a new game.
Hyper Light Drifter felt like Zelda was upgraded to Devil May Cry fight mechanics. Like it just felt.
But the big difference is like a remake is specifically built on nostalgia as a core selling point, and Hyper Light Drifter was not. Hyper Light Drifter
wholeheartedly.
Hyper Light Drifter was built with a strong reverence to its source material because it very much drew from the Zelda ethos. But I don't think he sold that as. I don't think that Heart Machine.
First question, which is, what is nostalgia?
Well, that's the thing, right? I can say I like synthwave, but that doesn't mean I like '80s film soundtracks and video game music, right? Like, you comparing.
You lost me. How do you not?
Because,
have you listened to the Nightmare on Elm Street soundtracks? They're fucking incredible.
There's there's millions of people who love synthwave who've never heard an '80s song.
It's true.
And so it's two different conversations.
Yeah.
It's two different conversations.
8-bit games are a genre. 16-bit games are a genre.
A sentimental longing or wistful affection for the past, typically for a period or place with a happy personal association.
Yeah, I don't think that we need that defined specifically for games. We may have to define that for games. What is a nostalgic game?
Today we solve nostalgia in video games.
We do.
The game solves
nostalgia is a desire to return to an earlier time.
Yeah.
An example of nostalgia is the craving to be back in college again. So, if
I'm
playing Hyper Light Drifter and it feels like Zelda, those are nostalgic.
You're nostalgic for Zelda, though. You're not nostalgic.
Feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about nostalgia, like the game, like the actual games, like revisited? I think that's the question. I think that's what the question is. Like the question is, what is required for nostalgia to hold up? Like, yeah, I guess reformatting it to today's standards is great, which is what you're talking about. But like, does the old games that we played as a kid or teenager or young adult, does that hold up to today's standards? I think Sonic is going to be Sonic forever.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think certain games are going to be certain games forever.
No,
I think a lot of it's bad.
Yeah. Yeah, some games were great at the time, and then they just don't hold up anymore. Like, Star Fox was incredible. But you play it now, and it's slow. It's like 5 frames per second. Like, ugh, this is kind of unplayable.
First off, why is there not a newer one?
Star Fox 64, however, is silky smooth.
I haven't talked about 64 yet.
Might be timeless. What did you guys say?
64 is timeless.
But Star Fox is easily the most fucking neglected franchise that Nintendo has power over. Yep. And I fucking hate that there's not a current day Star Fox game. Fuck them. Anyway, moving on.
I thought the last one on the DS, or whatever the equivalent is, the 3DS or whatever, handheld, was fine.
Nah.
I thought it was good. I thought it felt like a true sequel.
No, it felt like a game made for handhelds.
Oh, they recently released Star Fox 2. The lost sequel. The one they canceled. They re-released that or actually officially released it.
I want a new Star Fox game, Ben.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I've never played a minute of Star Fox.
It's dope. It's dope. It was dope.
Like Caleb not watching Ghostbusters.
Yo, but like, let's talk about nostalgia for a second, right? Because Final Fantasy VII just fucking came out, and its launch was huge, and then people
happy to have contributed to that.
People liked it. A lot of people really liked it. Some people were really upset because it wasn't the original game, right? It was the first chunk, and like they spent $60 on a game that's longer 30 years ago than on a game that came out now.
It's so good though that I was in an art chat. It was a Google Meet with like 10 other artists the other day, and one of the people in there said it's so good that I will gladly pay $60 for the next chunk.
Sure.
Even if it's not.
I feel like that's a risk though, and I think you're gonna get two separate reactions to that and very little middle ground, right? Like,
but it's a 50-hour game. They're 50-hour chunks.
Yeah, but imagine
and
if you
not Skyrim chunks where here's an open world to spend as much time as you want. No, it's 50 hours of content.
Imagine if you were the old school kind of dude that doesn't watch trailers and doesn't want to get overhyped about a thing, and you know Final Fantasy Remake's coming, and you find out the release date, and then you buy it, knowing what it is, and you buy Final Fantasy VII Remake, not Chapter 1, not Part 1, Remake, and the game ends when you leave Shinra.
That's a very niche demographic you're listing. That's harkening back to the before even the internet, where people didn't know what they were buying. Now that's willful ignorance. I'm not gonna adjust arguments.
Right, but what if we had those?
Like, I don't know what I'm buying. Now I'm upset. Well, that's your fault, dummy.
What if we have those people that are like, I really want to play this game a hell of a lot. I've been waiting for this forever, but now I'm gonna have to spend at least I have to spend $60 for this little chunk.
It's not
Whenever
little, but
I mean, but it's not the full game. Also,
right.
It's not half of the
So-
game. It's not even half of the game.
yeah, like the people are like, I've been waiting for this to happen forever, and now I have to pay 3 times as much to play part of a game.
Yeah.
As one voice of many on the internet, I will tell you that this game feels handmade, handcrafted. I know it's probably made
Sure.
with thousands of people.
Definitely
But this is 50 hours of extreme detail and minutia. Like holy shit levels of detail. It's a love
Sure.
letter to the game that was.
Why'd
and
you gag?
it feels, because it's an overused cliche term, but it feels like
So-
the most beautiful homage to the original, and it doesn't feel possible. Ryan, specifically, since you made this point, it doesn't feel possible that they could have remade that entire game in this amount of time. Because
have you played Witcher?
yeah,
Witcher 3 was made in 7 years. It's got
Yeah.
300 hours of content in it. It's one of the most
what-
widely regarded games as one of the best for its like story. And Final Fantasy VII was not 300 hours, and they had 19 years to make it.
they didn't spend 19 years making it. So
Right, that's their mistake.
Give me an accurate timetable of actual production years.
Ben, but they had as much time as they wanted in that 19-year span to make it, and instead they decided to spend
Irrelevant?
3. Well, you can't say that they spent the most time that they could on it, because
no, I'm saying that
or you
when they
can't say that it
decided
doesn't
to-
feel possible for it to have contained the whole game when games come
when
out.
they said
could've-
we're making a remake.
yeah,
That's the start of our timeline to now. That chunk of time, I'm saying, my unprofessional opinion, it was impossible to remaster all of Final Fantasy VII in that amount of time. I'm saying.
Then they
Final Fantasy VII is a big
waited
fucking
to
game.
release it.
What, another 10 years when all the hardware changes? That's
it was
suicide.
announced in 2015.
So 5 years. This
5
feels like a
years.
5-year-old game. This feels like God of War. This feels like Horizon Zero Dawn. This feels like...
Witcher 3 is a 5-year-old game, though, is what I'm
I
saying.
don't care. It's open world. It's different. It's side quests. It's blah blah.
High
It's
tech.
a Skyrim game. It's,
Yeah, sure,
Right?
sure. But Witcher's
this is 50 hours of hand holding. Like go this way. Constant dial. Like Splinter
Yeah.
Cell. Like
Yeah,
no
sure.
fluff. Yeah. No.
Sure.
There's no grind. You can't even go anywhere to grind.
I don't think that Witcher 3 has that. I think if you combined all of the story of the Witcher 3 game and its DLC that came out, it would be, if you just went straight through that, it's 50 to 60 to 70 hours of manicured written content.
Okay. So then your 300 hour doesn't work for me. So if
But they
if
did
spent 5
all
years
of they
making
did
a
all
50-hour
of that.
game,
They
then-
did all of they spent that much time making a 70-hour game that also included an additional 200 hours of extra shit you could do in an open world. And we know from history, Final Fantasy VII, after you leave Midgar, you get a airship eventually and fly around a
Yeah.
big open world with much less manicured
yeah,
stories
it's not
later.
possible. It is impossible. Plus, they added so much. It's not just a remake. They've added so
Well, it's a
much.
remake. It's not a remaster.
Okay, sure, but
Yeah.
they added so much content and characters
back
that
when it's
it's not the same game, and I could see how people would be upset. But my personal opinion is that I love it.
See now,
But-
but to bring it back to our topic for the night, that game sold you on its nostalgia, not because of how it looked, because it doesn't look like the original game,
Right?
but because of
Some of it does.
because of what
Thank
it's about,
God.
because of what it's about, and because of what it references. And so for me, that game is nostalgic because it's a remake of a game, and
Sentimental longing. Right?
we gotta define it for video games, man. The definition of nostalgia was years old and is made for like, oh man, I've got this nostalgic feeling right now, which is literally saying I wish I could go back in time.
Yeah.
And when we're talking nostalgia in games, we generally talk about it being used as a marketing ploy to make you buy something because it makes you feel like you're a kid again. And
The
and
Atlantic-
Exactly. Being back in a like
right, Hyper Light
remembering
Drifter,
a time
Hyper
in
Light,
the past.
but yeah, Hyper Light Drifter was not sold as a game that would make you feel like a kid again.
But it did for me because it looked and felt like a
Right.
vintage retro game.
Right. When I'm talking nostalgia on games, I'm talking about them trying to cash in on my age and my experience in games.
And that's what I believe.
Not
That's why I
drawing-
disagree with this whole
not drawing
Final
in-
Fantasy conversation.
Yeah, not drawing influence from something that came before, because that's just inspiration.
It's simulated nostalgia almost. What you're talking about.
Simulated nostalgia. I like that. Can we coin that? Somebody trademark that.
Hold on, Ryan. How do you feel about nostalgic games? Because I know that you're one of those guys that likes to keep up with first-person shooters, specifically. Well, not all Call of Duties, but this year got us back into Call of Duty. You did have Black Ops 4, but you played it very little. You're more of a trend keeper than a I'm going to go back to this thing that I love a lot. In fact, it's kind of hard to get you to download things that are older games because we want to get back into them. So what game would have to be remade? What nostalgic trip would have to be given to you for you to buy
in? I'd have Diddy Kong Racing.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Nice.
Okay.
Good answer.
Yeah. If they remade a Diddy Kong Racing like Mario Kart style like it is now, like I would be all over that. I'd buy a Switch just for that. Yes.
So does it have to be a remake for you to be involved, for you to care? Or can you go back and play the original game and care?
Ooh. Oh yeah, I can do both. I can play the original game and care. I think I have the original game and I break the N64 out quite often. But yeah, I think for me with the nostalgias, like back then and every time I talk about games that I used to play, it's like, man, this used to look so good. And then I play it and I'm like, this looks like straight garbage right now because of just we're so fortunate to have 1080 and 4K and we can play games like that. And so going back, like I can't play GoldenEye on my 4K TV. I feel like I need to break out a tube TV to actually probably be able to see what's happening a little bit better.
You sure to actually enjoy it. Yeah.
I need to downgrade my television to actually play these downgraded games. So for me, nostalgia doesn't only really picks up in like when Halo 2, whenever they were doing the whole Master Chief collection, they were remaking everything. Like Halo 2's on there. I'm like, man, like that was such a good game playing like LAN parties in garages. Everybody's bringing their TV. Like I'm thinking of all this stuff. I'm not really feeling like I want to play it, but like it brings back those memories like a lot. But I don't know. Nostalgia doesn't really get me like unless it's something that I was like to die for. Like a Banjo-Kazooie, if they remade Banjo-Kazooie, I would be all over that. I played that so much as a kid. Like it's really dumb, but I played the hell out of it.
I wonder if there's a deeper connection the older you are to nostalgia.
Sure.
Like does Super Mario 1 or even Pong, right? And this is definitely aging myself, but even Pong, like does that hold a harder like hold on me than it would someone whose first game was in the 2000s?
Call of Duty.
Yeah, like Call of Duty, fucking the first Black Ops is the first video game experience. Like so, like because
I've had kids come up to my art table and ask me to draw Ghost from Call of Duty. Like that's a character for people.
Who? I was like, who?
Ghost. Right. Ghost straight up was the character drop for season 2 of this most recent Modern Warfare.
Right.
He was the big reveal. Oh shit, Ghost is back.
The Atlantic said in 2015, nostalgia is ruining video games.
I have that article pulled up right now.
Yeah, I was skimming through it. It was pretty interesting. None of it seems extremely topical, but then Kotaku in 2019 said, while nostalgia for video games is uniquely powerful.
Yeah, because you experience games different than you experience movies or books, because you can actually influence them.
Yeah, but it is a marketing tool, as you guys said earlier. They said in the midst of, where is it? Oh shoot, they mentioned a bunch of sequels, and then Halo 5, Metal Gear Solid 5, Shenmue 3 sold a bunch, but then like where's this one game they just said that came out, it just did really bad. Then an original game comes out and tanks, but if it's Black Ops 3, you're gonna bank. If it's Halo 5, you're gonna bank.
Yeah, that's just selling. That's franchise, man. That's franchises. They're selling on the.
That's nostalgia too, right?
No.
Yeah.
Of course.
I mean, I think Call of Duty is probably one of the more unique examples of this because it applies in more ways, because it's one of the few game franchises that's been around since PlayStation 1, right? There's very few games that have been that long lived and as frequent, right? Like if Call of Duty was less of a frequent release, I would argue it's more a nostalgia thing. But we get one every fucking year.
Can I read these 2 paragraphs?
At that point, it's just a book. Yeah.
2 paragraphs?
Interestingly enough, those 37-year-olds are a part of the first generation who can feel nostalgic for old games. Gaming doesn't have much of a history before the 1980s. With all due respect to Pong, no one reminisces about the time they whiled away hours moving a paddle. That's probably not true. But so nostalgia for games is a novel phenomenon that the industry's taken note of. One of the biggest announcements to come out of 2015 E3 was a remake of Final Fantasy VII, a beloved 18-year-old game. IGN named it number 3 on their list of the 11 biggest expo stories from 2015, a list that's remarkable in every entry except one about a sequel, a remake, or an existing game. Lastly, with the exception of a big-name franchise like Star Wars, moviegoers tend to groan at Hollywood parades of remakes and sequels. Look at the anemic reception to Terminator Genesis, or the debacles that were Spider-Man and Fantastic Four reboots. Meanwhile, when a Final Fantasy V remake came out not long after 7 remake was announced, the biggest complaint was that it hadn't received the same attention and care as last time. It's rare to see Hollywood franchise get so many sequels and remakes that it hits double-digit installments, but it's so common in gaming that hotly anticipated remakes can dominate the year's news. It's pretty interesting. That covers like everything we just said.
When I was in late 20s, I came to the realization that I'm going to be a video gamer for life. I'm going to play video games until I can't hold a controller, right? And even then, I'll find another way. And it was a realization. And I was talking to someone who wasn't a video gamer, and we were having a debate about it. And I said, just so you know, my generation is the first generation with video games. Like we are literally the first generation that like was born into video games, and like have that experience. Like I remember I remember my dad got an Atari. Like I remember the glee I had getting an NES. Like the pure joy. Like I was on top of the world. Like I remember that as a kid, like under 10. You know, like and that
going to Blockbuster to rent a video game was one of the greatest experiences.
Bro, me and my cousin Jerry walked a few miles. You know, he was 13, I was maybe 15, maybe around that age, just to go to Blockbuster to rent video games because like it was that serious.
Yep.
Like we have a different history at our age rate. At me and Ben's age, we have a different history with video games than someone who's much younger. Because it's literally been lifelong. And for you guys, it has been lifelong. But we were around with VCRs and cassette tapes. You know what I'm saying? So like,
yeah, so was I.
Were you old enough to buy VCR tapes?
Yo, dude, I bought Tarzan in plastic clamshell, motherfucker.
Why you gotta have the motherfucker? Just because I'm
no, that wasn't.
I don't know your
life.
Nostalgia makes him emotional.
I don't know your life.
Did you just beat me?
I did.
Angry nostalgia.
But I like the article, like the paragraph she just read said, like there is a deeper nostalgia for people from our age range. That's why there's 1989 Batman Funko Pops that are tearing up Funko right now, dude. Like people hardcore getting Joker with his makeup half off from 1989. Michael Keaton's and Catwoman and Danny DeVito's Pops. They're this month, these weeks popping, and that's their bank. The bank is our age range.
You said popping, and I hate it.
You say like, slaps, and we all hate it.
Yeah. You talked about pops popping, guys. It's a little different.
No.
But they are popping. You know exactly what I meant.
Popping.
What was she going to say? Pop what?
Pop what magnitude? Oh, man. I don't know, man. I think that like there's a big difference between what we're talking about when Pop does a specifically nostalgic thing to sell collectibles, and video games remake a thing because they think people. I mean, I guess it's not.
It's the same thing.
It's not hugely different, but like,
remakes
Funko Pop is only successful because of nostalgia. That's their whole business model.
Well, it's not their whole business model.
No,
yes,
facts.
Yes, it is.
Yo, you like this. You saw this. You liked it. Here's this.
Well, that's okay. See, that's different because they make a referential product. They don't have any original products.
Yeah.
They do. Yeah, they do. But that's beside the point.
So, yeah, if they have original stuff that's not based on anything that's pop culture.
What's their biggest sellers? Marvel, Star Wars.
Yeah, but the argument, That doesn't work for me because like Pop only makes things that reference older things.
Yeah.
So saying
So that's their
their
business
whole
model.
business is nostalgia. It's not nostalgia though the whole time because I didn't buy the Star Wars shit because it was nostalgic. I bought the Star Wars shit because Star Wars is a thing now and I like what they're doing now.
Here's what they're
and
selling.
going back and buying the 1980 Tim Burton Batman shit is nostalgic because it's a 40-year-old movie.
So we need to know the bulk of their business then, Caleb.
It's not a 40-year-old, 30-year-old movie.
The Tim Burton movie was 91. Was it not?
89.
89. So it's a 32-year-old movie.
Yeah, that's a big difference than 40.
I said 40-year-old movie. I guessed.
Math.
I hope we can talk about this for a long time.
We're going to.
Yeah.
Gets them every time. But like, I want to know the statistics of Funko Pop. If it's possible to break down how many sales go into how old a thing, right?
I'll email them.
I don't
email them
think
right
we'll
now.
have that.
Ryan, please get on that. I'm sure it's at Mac.
I know from working retail recently, the majority of the pops we sold were Fortnite, Star Wars, Stranger Things.
It's all recent.
Yeah. We had a few collectors that would come in and buy the Jaws ones when they came out. But at that point, it's almost like they're just... It doesn't even feel like nostalgia anymore when Jaws pops come out because they only make a few of them and they come out randomly and you go, oh, there's Jaws pops and we just started making them and we're going to make only a few. So you're going to have to buy this first run. And that's more like we need to get it because it's brand new and it's going to be a collector's item. They don't mass produce nostalgia. They capitalize on it.
Let me tell you the most expensive Funko Pop in the world right now. Clockwork Orange. Clockwork Orange. That's nostalgia, dude.
I think that's probably the most expensive pop in the world because it's the hardest to find.
No, I mean, sure. Dumbo. I'm gonna tell you all the ones that aren't Freddy Funko because that's their license, but they whatever. Dumbo. Another Dumbo. Ken Griffey. This is all nostalgia. The top 10s are nostalgia. If it's not Freddy Funko. Boo Berry. They don't make Boo Berry cereal anymore. Nostalgia. So that like they can make 2 of them and it still doesn't mean it's gonna pop. Like, I'm sorry, I'll choose another word. Doesn't mean it's still gonna sell well. It's not gonna slap. So like they can have like there's limited editions that I have that aren't worth a lot. Like so limiting the edition is not the same as creating nostalgia. Superman. Like all these are old franchises. 1970s Elvis is one of the most expensive pops.
Yeah, I think those are the most expensive because they build them in limited runs.
No, they had. Like, why is Tupac and Biggie the biggest, the super expensive, $300-$400 a pop?
They're impossible to find.
Are they? I have one. I have Biggie.
You don't have a $3,000 one, do you?
No, because I don't have $3,000.
Did you have the opportunity to buy a $3,000 one when it was on sale for $16?
I know people who bought. I know 2 people who bought Biggie when it was $10 and they just got it because it was Biggie and they didn't know what Funko was.
Yeah, I sold the guy 2 Biggie and a Tupac pop, and he sold them both the next day for $400 each.
I don't see the argument in that supply and demand negates the nostalgic.
Nintendo frequently, when they released Amiibos, we had lines out the door at GameStop for people to come get Amiibos that were brand new about games that were brand new, and the next day they were selling for thousands of dollars because they didn't make more for another 10 months.
That's supply and demand.
That's manufacturing shortage, and that's what Pop does.
No, man.
Yeah, those prices for those Amiibos went down. Those prices for Nintendo went down because Nintendo went back and went, sorry, we didn't mean for you to make these collector's items. We wanted everyone to get one if they wanted one, so they made more. And so the value that people bought $2,000 for a fucking Splatoon girl Amiibo went way back down. Now you can get them for $6 because they made dozens of thousands more.
You think the only people like Funkos is because the value goes up?
No, I'm saying that the only reason those pops are super expensive is because barely anybody has them.
Dude, your story that you just told negated that because you got a shipment of a Biggie and Pac Funko that were classic that never just kind of fell through the cracks. So obviously they make 300 of them.
But 300 is not many, my dude. When you sell hundreds of thousands of products.
Obviously they did make 300. They made a lot of them, but people didn't know the value, so it went up because of fucking nostalgia.
No, we got 2 tech.
And I worked at GameStop. You got a pop that came out 15 years ago. 10 years ago.
I worked at GameStop for 5 years. That's the first time I've ever seen those pops. Tell me they're making a lot of them.
If I can go right now to eBay and get one for $300, they did not make a few of them.
Well, if you go find the one go find the Clockwork Orange one you said that's the most expensive one, go find it for cheaper than what they've got it at.
That's not the point. We're not talking about the price of nostalgia. We're talking about their business is nostalgia.
I'm pointing out that $300 for a Biggie Pop means more of those were made than the Clockwork Orange one.
Your connection to the amount of and price for Funko is incorrect. As a person who has 400 Funkos, I'm telling you that is not their model. Like that's not what drives value.
Okay.
I know many people with Funkos that are very expensive. And that's not what draws it.
So why would the like Steamboat Willie Funko Pop that's about a character that's 110 years older than the Clockwork Orange Pop sell for less and not be as big a collector's item?
Because it doesn't like they don't care. People don't care to have it. Like they literally, there's a Funko Roy from Rick and Morty is jumped up in value to $250 to $200 I think, because it was hard. It was harder to get, so that does lead to your point. But people like that character. They like the whole story.
Yeah, they could put out a Funko Pop of my character and make 5 of them, and the value wouldn't go up.
Exactly, dude. a lot of exclusives don't get value because of their exclusive. Like exclusivity is not it works for Jordans, but it doesn't work for Funkos.
What? Yes, it does.
But hang
Yes,
on.
it does.
Hang on. To Ben's point.
Beck.
You said your character as in Butcher Queen, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So what if Butcher Queen blows the fuck up?
Yeah.
And it's the comic, and they only made 5 of your pop.
Yeah.
That shit's gonna be
Hundreds of
incredibly
thousands of dollars.
expensive.
Yes.
And Tech has said multiple times that's not their business model.
The reason you'll find some pops
create
are
shortage.
absurdly, almost comically expensive is because they're produced in limited quantities, like a few thousand, and along with the limited quantity, they are released in specific locations like Comic-Con or Disney World. They can only be gotten in a few places, and there's only a few of them made. What?
Is that what? Give me the source.
Yeah, what are you
Hold
talking
on,
about?
let me double click on it. Hang on, let it load.
That's not Yahoo business. So I don't give a shit.
If it's not Yahoo, it's not Yahoo Business. Oh, cool. Hold on.
We're burning the midnight oil.
Burn
here.
the midnight oil. Yeah.
Does anybody, Tech? I think you do. It's this really short video of the most recent console boot up sounds. Is there a way for you to play that in the stream, like your sound samples?
You have to email it to me.
It's in the show notes.
It's a whole YouTube video.
Oh.
It just rapid fire.
I don't think you'd be able to.
Let me know if you can hear this.
Negatory.
No, I didn't hear anything at all.
Give me a second. Let me route my sound.
Jabril said, "Who's got the popcorn?"
That's Tech. I've been trying to mute my mic every time I eat. Oh, and Ryan. So I'm not. I don't feel so bad anymore. I'm trying to mute my mic when I do eat the popcorn.
So this is an article from Vox.com.
Who?
Vox.com.
Never heard of it.
Say it again, Tech.
You've never heard of Vox
I
Media?
thought you were going to who?
Who? Who? What are you talking about?
Vox is huge. Vox is huge.
By the way,
Sure,
I
it's
said it
your
earlier,
point.
but remakes are pointless. Very, very pointless. So I'm just gonna put that out there. I literally hate the ideas of remakes. like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 just released a remake for the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Who the fuck buys a Call of Duty game for a campaign? There are people out there. There's people out there that will do that.
I do that.
But I would say probably 85% of the people that buy Call of Duty are like, I'm gonna be playing multiplayer.
Yeah, for sure.
But the thing that
statistic.
the thing that like I'm pointing out is that they waste so much time and energy. I don't know how much time and energy they put into it, but it's time and energy used to remake this game that they could have been doing something else. And then they're gonna put
more of a gamble, right?
But they're gonna put a $60 price tag on something that's been remade that they could have been wasting all this time and energy on something else and making like Call of Duty itself. Modern Warfare is literally probably the worst menu experience I've had since my Nintendo 64. Like it's it's atrocious, and they can't put that energy into that fixing this game. But let's remaster something.
They tried something new a few years ago. It was called Infinite Warfare. It's the worst reviewed, rated trailer on YouTube.
It's maybe one of the best Call of Duties.
And it's really good.
It's
but
maybe
like
one of the best Call of Duties.
it's the business, Ryan. It's easy money. Well, it's not easy money, but it's money, right? It's guaranteed money to remaster something than to try something new. Trying something new is risky.
Yeah, especially for AAA companies that make a game that costs $500 million.
Assassin's Creed has this fantastic gift of being able to try something new every installment, but because it's Assassin's Creed, people are going to buy it because it comes with the name. Right. It's pretty interesting.
I just think it's weird that like when Modern Warfare 2 came out, the same amount of people that bought that game are not going to buy this game. Why waste the resources?
Oh, because when you're doing a remaster, it's significantly less overhead than when you do a full from the ground up remake.
No, I mean I get that, but still, you're still wasting the resources on something that you're not getting the same amount of sales. Yeah, it was a good campaign. People played it, but people also bought that game and never touched the campaign. I haven't played Modern Warfare's campaign.
Yeah, that's a shame. That's great. It also may cost them way more than you think, way less than you'd think, because most of what we're getting with Modern Warfare is remastered maps from Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 1 and Modern Warfare 3, and they redid most of the assets while making that game anyway, because they have plans to have Soap and obviously Ghost and Roach and all those other characters are going to be in this Modern Warfare, so those assets have already been done. And it may have just been like a team of 40 people slapping a skin on an old game. They didn't redo the engine. They didn't redo the cutscenes. They didn't redo, it's just the old game that looks a little bit better. So.
Right. But I mean, that's just one example. Like,
yeah, sure.
They didn't do it that game. Sure. But like Final Fantasy, they completely disassembled and rebuilt.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting because like I don't want the next 10 years to be all the games that I loved in the late 90s, early 2000s being remade. But like Final Fantasy does sound like something I really want to fuck with. And a lot of people really liked it.
But it's so unique.
Yeah, like, and go play it on PlayStation. Like
it's so unique.
When it came out.
There are so few things that have I mean, I don't have a single memory of a game getting this sort of attention that Final Fantasy VII got with a remake.
Yeah.
It's just wholly unique.
Sure.
And I could see why it took 5 years to do it.
Sure.
And I argue that it's impossible to render the rest of the game in that amount of time. And I fear that it might be another 5 years before we see the next one. Maybe not. Like you said a second ago, there's a lot of assets already rendered. Unfortunately, the rest of the map doesn't look like Midgar. So.
Oh no.
Right. All the characters are there, animations, But maybe with the sales and the success, they've got a bigger team now. Right?
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Go ahead.
Is anybody working on getting that sound to play, or are we just gonna?
It's not gonna happen.
What was the sound for?
It's just all the boot up sounds of the consoles since PlayStation.
I can play it out loud, and you guys can hear it through my mic, but that's the only way I can do it, like for the whole thing.
I mean, we can queue up the video, and I can play it so the stream hears it.
Yeah, do that.
Do that, and then I'll. Yeah.
Well, here's the
or
thing.
we could just link it, and then people can watch it on their own time.
All of you guys live right now.
There's also the chance that it doesn't work because my computer's gonna be super fucking maxed right now.
All right. Well.
True.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
The Series X needs to bring back the original Xbox boot up, like the amoeba in the middle.
Yeah, that's in this video, man.
Yeah. Man. I watched the video earlier and I saw that. I was like, man, they really just, it's more plain the more you go. Like, why? Like, why are these just simple
getting simple?
Yeah, like, come on now. You went all out for the original Xbox, and then you're like, we have more technology now. Let's do less.
Yeah.
Like, the Series X, I would love it if they. This is something nostalgic. I would love it if they would allow you to do menu skins from the original Xbox 360 or the Xbox One, and like, you can make your system look like the original Xbox. I would enjoy that a lot.
Yeah. that'd
or
be pretty
or make
interesting.
it look like 360, something like that.
For sure.
But it'll probably never happen, but
For sure.
I would enjoy that. And to where you can upload CDs to your Xbox, like you could on the original Xbox. I love that part of it.
I miss my old Xbox because it
You
has
could
so much
down-
music that I don't have.
Yep.
And I
You
know and
could
I
burn.
can't
You
get
could
it
burn
again.
all your CDs on that shit, dude. It was so good.
That was pretty.
And
That was a very
play
lit
the
feature.
music.
Oh yeah, that was
Oh,
super
it's so
lit.
good. Oh.
Man, I missed that.
And they had like the equalizers and shit like that. If you just had it in music mode, of like different scenes in the background that were playing with the music. Oh, it was so good.
Speaking of music and nostalgia, you guys remember Winamp?
Fuck yeah.
Remember the Winamp skins?
Yes.
Weren't they crucial as fuck?
Yes.
Like, weren't they amazing? Like,
yeah.
how come iTunes?
What is that?
Are you serious,
Straight up.
Caleb?
Uh,
I mean,
Hey,
I know what it is. I've heard of
No,
it,
he doesn't.
but I didn't use it.
Did you not see his face when you said something?
Nothing.
No,
moved.
like,
He
I don't
he
have-
definitely had.
had no
he was
idea.
like. He was
I
like.
know I've heard it. I've heard it and I've read it. I never used it.
You're lying.
Okay.
You're lying straight up.
Sure.
Tech,
Just
go ahead.
Google.
Continue.
Google Winamp skins.
I remember the visualizers though too.
Yeah. Oh my god, they're so good.
I used to play. I used to get high with a bunch of friends, put on some trance, and put on this visualizer where it was like you're going down this psychedelic tunnel
It was like really.
for like an hour.
There
It was
hasn't been a good
incredible.
visualizer since Winamp.
Nope.
Because iTunes has a visualizer today, and it's like trash. It's pure trash.
But dude, the
But he's
tunnel
like-
was like 3D, and then the tunnel would like evolve and pulse to the music and shit. Like, dude, it was. It was,
That
like
Winamp-
vector, it was vector graphics.
Dude, my computer's listening to me
I don't think it was
because
Vector.
you said
Old school video game
type in
Vector or not.
Winamp, and as
Yeah.
soon as I typed in Win, it filled in the rest of it.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
this is some bullshit. I like
Hey,
it.
Discord will let me share my screen with sound. Shall I try it?
Yeah.
I mean, go for it.
No sound.
Come on. That's some bullshit. I can hear it.
Well, yeah.
Weird.
Now make the noises for
Oh,
us.
volume.
Yeah.
Volume. Okay, ready?
There you go.
There it is.
I like the next part. Yeah.
Shut up. When you talk, it dims it out.
Okay.
Tech, I need you to like read all these out as they pop up so the listeners can hear it
PlayStation 2.
in like a real radio voice.
PlayStation 2.
PlayStation 2. Up next, PlayStation 3 Original, 2006.
Oh fuck. It's so long.
That's not good. That's not
I
good.
love it.
PlayStation 3 Slim,
I
2009.
like the slim one. I like the slim one. Wait, nope. Maybe I didn't have the slim.
It's the same thing.
It's the exact same.
Maybe
fucking
I had a
thing.
different one. Maybe
I
had a
like
different
this one.
Hang on, hang on.
PlayStation 4,
Oh, this
Quarter
is-
4,
This one's false.
2013. Subterfuge.
Nope, nope. That's not what PS4 looks like.
Someone made that up.
Yeah,
That's funny.
Someone's
as
like, I
shit.
do graphics too.
they just learned
Nick-
After Effects.
Nintendo 64, 1996.
I don't remember that
What's
shit.
interesting
at
about that
all.
one is that I think that was in the commercials.
Yeah.
Nintendo GameCube, 2001.
Boom.
That's a really good logo.
That one's
Side
really
note,
good.
It's a really
That
good
one's
logo.
Really good.
Nintendo Wii, 2006.
That's the wackest one out of all of them.
That is the
was
wackest
awful.
one.
Boo.
Wii U, 2013.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Xbox,
Nice.
2001. Xbox.
Fuck yeah, dude.
So good.
Ugh,
I
love
love
it. Xbox 360 original,
This is
2005.
that like whom. Yeah.
That's really good too.
Man, all I can think
Simple.
of Red Rings of Death.
Oh my God.
360, Connect 2010.
Yeah, that
Oh, yeah.
Xbox One is just like, that's it. It just pops up on the
Xbox
screen.
One, November
Yeah, let's see what
2013.
their guess was. Oh nope, that's very much it.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Boo.
All right,
Boo.
Sega
we're
Master
back.
System.
These are all the
Sega
Sega
Master
systems.
System, 1986. That's dope.
I love it.
Sega Mega Drive, 1988.
AKA Genesis.
7 years old.
So loud.
Yep, you're welcome,
Yeah.
everybody.
Dreamcast, 1998, which was ahead of its time. The system.
Yeah, except you could.
Oh, that
I
was
respect it.
Yeah,
deeply nostalgic.
respect.
Sega Saturn, 1995. I had a Sega Saturn, and I loved it.
Yikes!
Oh,
Yikes!
I loved it. I loved
Yeah,
it.
headphone wearers are gonna hate that.
Atari Jaguar, 1983.
Meow.
Oh, there's more. One didn't go with the other. That was like a meeting they
Last
fought
note was
on.
sour.
And like one person won, one team won, another team won.
That last note was straight up sour. Doesn't come through right. I'm not kidding.
It was just a cube of fucking jaguars just spinning in the center.
Yeah.
I want you to know. I want to apologize to the whole podcast because I have been distracted for the last 10 minutes because I've been researching pops. And I can't find anything that says anything but the fact that the most expensive pops were limited releases, like the holographic.
Sure, man.
The holographic
I mean,
Darth Maul.
dude. I mean, that's okay.
Hold on. The
We'll just say this.
holographic Darth Maul that's super expensive was made. They made 480 of them. That's
Okay,
it.
sure, man.
And you could only get it at Comic-Con in 2016.
Okay,
That
I mean
sells
that's
for
business
$2,000 because
101.
you can only get those. Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's
yeah.
all based on nostalgia, and just because it's limited edition does not mean it's going to be high in value. Is my only point. Like that's
I can
business
agree with that.
101.
Sure.
That's literally business 101. If I make something that everyone loves, which is not going to be fucking Fortnite pops because that's brand new, but if I take something old and make it limited, people are going to want to buy it. Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
Fact.
if you make some super obscure shit, but you only made 500 of them, nobody's gonna care. It's
No
too
one gives
obscure.
a shit.
Right.
But it has to be
Darth Maul?
nostalgic.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course, dude. Of course, bro.
Yeah.
Of course. Of course.
All right.
Of course.
Of course.
We good? We got it? We
Yes.
got it? All right.
Of course.
All right.
Of course.
I read somewhere in this article that like
My
nostalgia
horse.
only makes up a third of their sales, but I can't find that anymore, so I'll look for it later and share it later. Man, there's a lot of questions been added in here, but like,
I think a lot of them are nullified by our reclassification of nostalgia.
And
Well-
arguments.
what was the reclassification of nostalgia?
The fact that nostalgia only means a product of the past, not a recent,
Not
not
something.
a recent production that pays homage to or
Sure,
reminisces of.
sure, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like a lot. Yeah, like I mean, of course, does nostalgia ruin sequels? We kind of went over that. You know, are graphics only an indication of games as retro or a nostalgic aesthetic, which we sort of classified. Is it-
Yeah, I can't think of
is
a
retro
nostalgic
is
aesthetic.
retro also nostalgic? You know, is being a retro, being 16-bit Stardew Valley, is that a nostalgic aesthetic?
No,
No.
I mean it's an art style that's
Yeah.
been around for a long time, but that doesn't
So
mean
the
that I
fact that it
think
looks
that
almost exactly like the game it's paying homage to is not nostalgic at all.
is a hand drawn anime from now nostalgic for hand drawn anime from the 80s? No, not necessarily, right? Like it can be absolutely. And I think if I'd been one of those people, or if Sarge had been one of those people, I don't know if you did, but like if we'd played a ton of Harvest Moon, then maybe that game did that. So does
you?
You did play a lot of Harvest
Yes.
Moon?
Yeah.
See, so yeah, maybe that hit him differently because of
senor.
that. But like, I didn't play a lot of games that looked like Stardew Valley, but I play like back when I was younger. But I've played like Celeste and Stardew Valley and
Yeah.
fucking
Name one more.
Asswipe.
Name all of them.
Super
You like
time,
rock and roll? Name all of them.
Super Time Force Ultra Squad.
A lot of the things I put at the bottom were things just that I thought we could mention as games evolved, but we didn't really like follow the timeline of video games because we didn't have time for that. You know, just like as games struggled to evolve, as we went full motion video, and then as we struggled to go 3D, and then now we're struggling to be like ultra photorealistic, just stuff like that. But
yeah, I think that's kind of
enough.
technology. If technology is not trying to outdo itself every time, then it's probably gotten stagnant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have a game from your past that has not been remade that would instantly be a purchase for you when it got announced?
Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver.
Yeah, yes.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it once, dude.
That game's fucking incredible. And it was made by one of the biggest game directors in the industry.
Yep. Wait, have I heard of this game?
You probably have. It was big.
I played this game.
Yeah, the game was dope as fuck. Never heard of
that
it.
Conversational Evolution. That was amazing.
Wait, I think I had this game.
Legacy what now?
Legacy of Kain. With a K. Not as in Cain and Abel. And
I totally played this game.
Soul Reaver. But Soul Reaver is just one of them because they had 4 games, Caleb. They had Blood Omen, which was like a top-down strategic dungeon kind of game, and then they had Soul Reaver 1 and 2, and then they had
Shit, I played that game too.
And then they had the one where you played the vampire, the white-haired guy. Maybe there was 5 games then, because he had his own game, and then there was a finale.
Dead Sun, Legacy of Kain, Defiance, Blood Omen. Hold on, I've got it pulled up. The games in the series are Legacy of Kain, or Blood Omen, Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver 2, Blood Omen 2, Legacy of Kain, Defiance, and Nosgoth.
Blood Omen 2, you were like this vampire king, and you could suck people's blood from long range in this like airstream kind of thing. It was fucking incredible.
Right. Why did I play this game?
Defiance was this amazing, beautiful finale. All the stories wrapped up, and like the lead guy like had to sacrifice himself because part of his soul was in the sword or something. It was fucking awesome.
Amy Hennig, dude.
Amy Hennig, who went on to make Uncharted.
Fucking incredible.
And then,
these games were Crystal Dynamics.
Yeah,
that's fucking bananas.
These games are a large part of video game history, and sort of sleepers. So I could see why they wouldn't get remade. But the fact that Medieval from Sony got remade and this didn't, I was like, come on, who cares about Medieval? That game could not have sold well. The remake.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not.
Oh man, themes of destiny, free will, morality, redemption, and the hero's journey recur in the storyline, which was inspired by ancient literature, horror fiction, Shakespeare's play, and Gnosticism. Man, the dialogue was incredible. I always said, and I tweet her about once a year, I was like, please make a fucking book. Can you just turn these into a book, please? I would
once
read
a
these.
year.
She's gonna block
I bug
you
Amy to remaster this game about once a year.
She's gonna block you one day.
One day.
Already has.
One day.
All right, so let's ask a question. Let's pass it around.
Yeah, sure.
Ryan,
So
what is the game that if they remade, you'd be all in? Not
Mine's
remade, right? Just
already being
re-released?
remade right now. Command and Conquer.
Fuck yeah.
And I'm
Diddy
buying
Kong, right?
that shit instantly. And Diddy Kong, yes.
Yeah.
So we're talking about
buying
like
that
remade or just
instantly.
re-released?
remade.
No, it's being remade.
Remade. Okay.
Because remakes,
But-
re-releases are just like,
Yeah.
yes, they capitalize on nostalgia, but they're not like building something that's dependent on your. I need it because it reminds me because I'm younger. They're just re-releasing something, and re-releases are cool because whatever. But remakes, what game is gonna spend its resources to make something you loved back in the day something you're gonna love again tomorrow?
Okay. What's yours, Caleb?
That's a tagline for a company: making what you loved yesterday, what you love tomorrow.
Today.
Back
For
us on
me,
Kickstarter.
shit.
Yeah. You have one?
I know I do.
Oh,
I just
fucking 13, of course.
no. That's not. I mean, yeah,
Okay.
sure. That's already being made. I wasn't gonna say that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, fucking asshole.
Siphon filter.
No, because Splinter
Oh,
Cell's Siphon Filter's dope, but Splinter Cell's Siphon Filter better. Jade Empire, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
I fucked
I
with
played
that
the shit out
game.
of that. Yeah.
Old BioWare game made right after they made KOTOR, where you chose different doctrines of martial arts in the beginning of the game rather than choosing like mage and paladin. You chose like Shaolin or Kung Fu, and oh, it was so good. It probably sucks now, but it was good then. Ooh, Advent Rising.
Interesting.
That game was dope.
Yeah.
Why did I not hear
was...
of any of these games that you guys were talking about?
You said that a minute ago, but then everybody's like, "Oh yeah, Soul Reaver."
Yeah.
Well, all of Caleb's, I'm like, yeah, what the fuck is
Jade Empire was an OG Xbox game.
I made a Soul
Advent
Reaver.
Rising looks like a before Halo game. Like it looks almost like a.
It was actually
version of that.
more a predecessor of Mass Effect than anything.
They had a lot of industry hype, and then the game just wasn't very.
It was
good.
written by Orson Scott Card, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that guy's great. That's sarcasm.
Heck, did you say yours?
I did not say mine.
What is yours?
I'm in a good position that the games that I played back as a child, a lot are still being made every year.
Sports games?
Madden,
Yeah.
right? NBA Live is dead, but that's besides the point. So the first thing that pops up to my mind of a game that I played, I loved, and never got that void filled again would be Tenchu.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Sheesh, what a great answer.
Thank you. It was a game that I played. I loved it a lot. And I never.
Did you see the gameplay for
Ghost of
Sushi
Tsushima?
Man?
For the
Sushi
who?
Man?
Sushi Man?
Sushi Man?
Ghost of Sushi Man?
I haven't seen it. Ghost of Sushi Man.
It kind of feels like Tenchu, bro.
Yeah, and I probably have seen it if it was on E3 in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And I think that's the one I did like get excited about.
That's probably between that and Sekiro. Those are the games that when the trailer started, I'm like Tenchu, 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 and then it's not Tenchu, but I'm like, well, it kind of is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down to play Ghost of Sushi Man.
You can only say that a few more times before it becomes radically offensive.
Yeah, I know. Tsushima, right?
Yeah,
The Ghost of Tsushima.
They pronounced it differently in the thing. They don't say Tsushima, they say Tsushima.
Tsushima, yeah. Because
well,
Young Thunder said in a song 20 years ago, "You say Hiroshima, I say Hiroshima."
Yeah,
and that's always stuck to me.
Well, there's Hideo Kojima, and then there's Hideo Kojima. Right? Same guy, different emphasis.
Hideo Kojima.
Yeah.
Kojima-san.
Yeah.
This looks dope, but I keep seeing cutscenes in this trailer. Like I don't want to see cutscenes. I want to see gameplay.
Yeah, there's a more recent one that's 18 minutes of all gameplay.
Yeah.
For Tsushima. Also, it's got a black and white film green mode that plays out like an old Akira Kurosawa samurai movie. So the cutscenes get like drawn out, and like duels actually like slat in, and you get like zooms into the guy's hand as he like thumbs the hilt of his blade off of the. It's so good.
And this is a PS4 exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting this.
Yeah.
I need a PS4, buddy.
It looks dope, but it also looks extremely derivative. And like I don't have a problem with that, but I have a little bit of a problem with that.
How could it not?
I wanted more like historical.
Well, it might be. Still, they just didn't show us
Not
that
with the
stuff.
way people react to arrows.
Oh, you mean accuracy? Yes. Did you watch that? Did you finally go through and watch it?
No, but
Yeah, please do it like right after this, because when people get hit by arrows, it was the most. Whoops! I'm not in the experience anymore. Dog shit I've ever seen. Like feet kicking, hitting the like. So dumb, so dumb.
I would have to. Looking at the gameplay, I need to wait for reviews before I want it.
interesting.
Sure, I'm gonna buy it because it looks beautiful, and like that's all it takes on PlayStation. Honestly, that's all they sell on. Because a lot of other stuff's kind of derivative.
So Advent Rising is your answer? That's weird.
No, I said Advent more for me, Jade Empire, but Advent Rising was
That's
a game
right,
I
Jade
played
Empire.
a
Yeah,
lot.
that was a good answer. Okay.
Advent
All right,
Rising
game
was
industry,
like
get
my
on it.
line.
We'll see you in 5 years.
Yeah, I mean Knights of the Old Republic. There's rumors that that's getting remade. And
I do not want that old combat system. It'd have to be remade.
Yeah, they're starting. They're rebooting it. They're rebooting it.
I just
Starting
don't
over.
want that anymore. Yeah.
There's a delineation people need to make or need to pay attention to, or maybe they need to be better about making clear that like remakes and remasters are two wildly different things.
Sure.
And I think one of the misconstruments, whatever, of Final Fantasy VII is that people thought it was a remaster. It's not. It's a remake. So they shouldn't have expected it to be the whole game.
It's also a relatively new phenomenon. How many other remakes do we have?
Call of Duty, Modern Warfare.
Okay.
That.
Right.
Dirt remade itself.
I make Dirt every night.
That's funny. Resident Evil 2 remade. It's not the same game. It's not a remaster.
Oh yeah, all the Resident Evils have been remade. Yep.
Resident Evil 2 and 3 are both remakes. And they're going to remake Resident Evil 4 next, and that's going to blow people's fucking minds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's the
been an hour and a
difference.
half.
It's the difference between doing, fucking Terminator Genesis or just starting over, just making a movie called Terminator and running it back.
Yeah, we're just calling it Call of Duty.
Yeah, that's what this was. This is just Modern Warfare, not 1, 2, or
Right.
3. We're starting over. It's a remix, taking the characters you like, new setting, new story, never
Doom.
gone through all the stuff from before, and it rocks.
Doom. 2016.
No, I think there's an argument, and I think there's facts to prove that they're consecutive.
Oh, no, you're right. No, you're absolutely right. Tech,
Yeah.
what's up?
So where are we in conclusion, right? I feel like we're rambling now.
Sure.
So,
Yes.
Is nostalgia a net good or net evil? Ben.
Good.
Tech.
good.
Ryan.
Evil.
Ooh. I'm gonna side on evil as well, just because I think the way it's used most of the time is as a weapon, not as a tool. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's not used to like, what if we gave them this thing that they love and did it so well that they loved it again for new reasons. It's like, let's just give them that thing that we made back then so we don't have to take any risks on shit.
You sound
we can
like
just pump
the people
'em
who
full of-
hate all of the modern Star Wars movies.
But see, that's a thing. That's the
No,
hustle.
I think
their
that's
argument.
I think that's the opposite. I'm the opposite of that dude. I dislike what video games do for nostalgia because most video games that are nostalgia dependent feel like they're shoddily thrown together and they're just like, ugh.
What are you referring to?
What?
What games are you referring to that are shoddily put together for nostalgia's sake?
I mean, look at Medieval. Look at fucking.
One more.
Shut the fuck up, Ryan.
The Crash remake and the Crash Team Racing.
I'm
remake.
okay. I'm literally describing the two different types of nostalgia that exist to me and why I like one and not the other. I wasn't
Just
pointing a
understand
finger
it's
at
a business
anything.
model, dude.
Yeah.
Like it is what it is.
course.
It's literally a moneymaker. It's never gonna go away. They're not remaking Big Trouble in Little China because it wouldn't make money. Like they remake shit that's gonna make money, and it's all it is.
But there's a way
And the
you can
same
do that
reason
right,
why-
and there's a way you can do that wrong.
For sure.
Of course.
Yeah, and I'm
DC
saying
does
if
it wrong,
you make
Marvel does it right.
and I'm saying if you're gonna do a remake, do it because you want to take something people loved in the past and you want to make them love it now for a new reason. The new
That's
Star
fine
Wars,
at
the
the
new
artist
Star Wars
level, but
movies,
once
the
you
new
go
Star Wars
through the
movies aren't
execs-
remakes. The new Star Wars movies aren't remakes, so you bringing that up makes no sense.
Well,
Yeah, it makes sense because the new Star Wars based the Rise of Skywalker on your love of Palpatine and your
I
nostalgia for
hated that
Palpatine.
movie, Tech. And I literally
I hate it.
described the reason I dislike nostalgia that feels like it's just trying to bank on your emotions.
But they're all
Which
trying
is
to bank
what
on your
all
emotions.
do that.
but
That's why we
some-
had the Millennium Falcon. That's why we
They
had
all
Bond
try to bank on your emotions. It just one's hit harder than closer to home to your heart than others.
You guys
You
hear
look
the
past
last
it.
thing I say, but forget the thing I said just before it. Yes, all nostalgia is banking on your emotions. I dislike nostalgia that's only goal is to bank on your emotions. I like nostalgia that wants to take
That's
something.
hyper specific.
Yes, that's what. That's the whole point of having an.
Understand what you're saying.
Yeah, obviously, because you haven't paid attention. You haven't said the right thing yet. What I'm saying is there's nostalgia. You guys are both coming after me.
No, we're not. We're trying.
No, we're
There's-
not, Caleb.
There's two types of nostalgia to me. Nostalgia that's only goal is to bank on your emotions, and it feels cheap and it feels mailed in. And then people that actually loved the project and the source material and want to make something good for a new generation. Which the Star Wars sequels to me for the first two, Force Awakens and Last Jedi, those two movies felt like they were made by people that wanted to reference the old material and bring those people back, but create a new Star Wars canon for people going forward. That's why we got Rey and Finn and Poe and all the new characters.
Force Awakens was such a... We're really diverting now. We're trying to wrap, but Force Awakens was literally an episode for like Blueprint.
Yeah, like they literally use the same formula for all three.
Yeah,
literally. Like I mean, it's so formulaic, and the only reason you say the last one is whack and the first two is because you like the first. You just happen to like the first two more. Like it's all the same money making scheme using nostalgia. That's why Han Solo is in the first one, and that's why Luke Skywalker's in the first two. Like that's why they're in there. That's why Lando Calrissian comes back. They're playing with your nostalgia to introduce new characters, to get you to spend money, because they know that if they introduce a new story, it's not going to be as successful, because new stories in comic books aren't successful. New comic book characters aren't as successful independently without being harnessed with someone else.
I think that's
Miss Marvel's not coming out on a big screen without being ushered in with the bigger stars. That's just how it is. That's how nostalgia works, and characters work, and new characters work.
But I think there's a really big difference between what you get in The Last Jedi.
Just because you like it doesn't mean there's a difference.
You're telling me
and
Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker are the same movie? Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker are the same movie with the same goals.
Same plots. Same company, same plot. Same way to make you get money. To use nostalgia to get money. That's the same thing.
There's a
they just double down on it for Rise of Skywalker.
There's a pretty distinct difference to me in the way that both of those movies are written. But that's what?
That's not the point.
You can talk about that tomorrow.
Is it time?
It's past time.
Yeah.
But
we're at an hour and 22 minutes of recording, so I don't know what y'all saying past time about.
We did start a few minutes late, but I think we've hit the end of this conversation.
For you, right? Sure. Yeah.
We can fight about it for weeks on end.
I mean, yeah.
We can continue recording next week's podcast and just not have one next week. Nostalgia part 2.
There's a way to do nostalgia right. That's why I think right now.
Absolutely.
It's well, you said they all have the same purpose like 3 minutes
They do.
ago.
They do.
But what's the difference? What's the difference between doing it right and doing it wrong, Tech? If you can do it right, how can you do it wrong?
It's your opinion.
So to you, to you, Tech, how is nostalgia done wrong?
He doesn't like it.
When I don't like it, that's all opinion based. It doesn't, like, you're trying to say, oh, they're doing it right, so like this is how you're supposed to do it. But like they're all doing it for the same purposes, and in your opinion, it introduces if it does it right or wrong.
Rise of Skywalker.
I'm a Tech on this one.
Rise of Skywalker is an objectively worse movie.
No, that's your opinion.
Yeah, that's your opinion.
No, I think it's objectively worse, bro. I think it's objectively worse. I think you can argue that the first hour. I think you could argue that the first hour of that movie is poorly written, poorly shot, poorly choreographed, and poorly timed and edited. And that's an objective thing, not a subjective thing. There's a big difference.
You're literally trying to say your opinion is fact, and you're always going to be wrong in that.
I'm not trying to say my opinion is fact. I'm saying I think that there's a bigger consensus that the first half of that movie is poorly put together. Do you think the first
argument is purely put together?
Do you think the first half of Rise of Skywalker is poorly put together, Tech?
I personally don't like the Rise of Skywalker.
Okay,
that doesn't mean.
Hold on. So stop being devil's advocate. Stop being devil's advocate.
What this argument is, bro.
Ryan,
this argument is a nostalgia argument.
Ryan, do you think the first half of Rise of Skywalker was well put together?
Which one's that?
Cool. Ben, what do you though?
I think the entire Star Wars machine is a big Disney mouse Lucasfilm nostalgia machine, and when they deviate, we get things like Rebels or the video game, the Jedi one, or whatever, or Clone Wars even deviated quite a bit, but it's still all nostalgia based. Like, oh my God, Obi-Wan faces Darth Maul. That's crazy. It's a big nostalgia machine, and how it gets put together is a different form of the debate, but you can't argue it's not nostalgia based because that's all it is. Oh,
at no point
Millennium Falcon has a square radar dish on it instead of circle.
They put the dice in it from the original movie.
At no point did I say that they weren't nostalgia based.
I'm just trying to wrap it up in a way to say that one is nostalgia, one is not. It doesn't matter how good it is or how good it's not. It's like how well it's executed is subjective. You think it's, slapdash and held together with Elmer's glue, when somebody else might go, that was fucking brilliant. I can't stop crying. This movie is great. This is a perfect way to do nostalgia. I feel completely honored and satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, no, that movie's literal trash. So like, it's on a person by person basis.
I didn't say
Terminator
anything
Genesis.
was
Somebody
literal
loved Terminator
trash.
Genesis.
Okay, yeah, that's sure.
Right. So
Is that movie objectively good?
it's
You no matter how at the end of the day, because Ben loves that subjectively good conversation.
yeah.
You cannot take an opinion
Ah,
and make it a fact. No matter how
no.
you try to place it, you just cannot do that because there's always going to be an exception to it.
Okay.
Just because you love it doesn't mean it's good. Just because you hate it doesn't mean it's bad.
Exactly.
But that's not always true. There are objective truths. That's why we review movies. That's why we
You say that, and I would disagree because you can the definition of opinion will make it not a fact. Majority opinion, sure, but that doesn't make it a fact.
There are objective truths to quality. There's things that are objectively better because of their quality.
But there may
there's objective truths to quality.
That does not make it a fact.
I mean, yeah. Well, okay.
Because in the definition of opinion and fact, one cannot be the same.
Well,
you can't
I'm gonna just repeat what I said. Just because you love it doesn't mean it's good, right?
You can you've done this conversation
You can have
before,
the garlic cheese bread from Emo's. You might like better than the garlic cheese bread from a 5-star restaurant.
Yeah, you know.
So
and there's some idiot who likes a 1980 Nissan Datsun more than a Tesla. There's some idiot in the world. That's just what it is.
Yep.
I do.
Right.
Thank you.
But when you measure 0 to 60, there's an objective truth here. So, right?
What do you mean we measure 0 to 60? Yeah, if you have two cars, there's a fact this car goes faster. That's a fact.
Yep.
It's not an opinion.
Right. Exactly.
Now, how pretty the car looks, that's the opinion.
True.
And it could be shit colored versus diamond. Okay, this is whatever.
My
Still
closing statement, and I will stop responding, so we have one more person not contributing to the conversation. There are objective standards to storytelling. And when you don't do it right, it falls apart. And you lack quality. And that applies to everything in which a story is told. Every medium. That's my closing statement. Until we get to wrapping up.
All right. That was a 7-minute diversion based on asking people whether or not they thought that nostalgia was good or bad. To recap, Ben said good, Tech said good, Ryan said bad, I said bad.
The young one said bad.
And I wasn't allowed to say bad because I'm young and stupid to some people.
Ask me again in 10 years, and I'll see if I change my mind when I'm your age.
Yeah.
That's the right attitude. That's actually the right attitude on that. I love you guys.
We should just have most of these conversations 10 years from now. And then you can tell us then that we're still 10 years younger than you, because that's never going to change. Yeah. Weird. It's like we're doomed to do this for all eternity. Anything that you guys encountered this week you want to share with people? You can or cannot have an answer to this. It's up to you.
Are we missing you?
Took a shower.
I tried to clean my I tried to clean my lens and I made it super smudgy and oily. So now my light.
You're in a sauna.
And so
why is there so much moisture all over?
And I have this, but I can't find my microfiber. So
I can't read that.
It's a screen cleaner. This is a electronic cleaner.
Here, let's do a TikTok transition. I'll give you a microfiber cloth.
White.
Would have been dope.
Yeah.
He wipes it one more time and he doesn't call me young and dumb anymore. Anybody else have things they want to share?
Jet Lancer just came out on Steam. It's like $10. That's fun. I like it. The music's fucking great. It's really fast and twitchy and good time. It's challenging. It's really cool.
Nice.
Oh, did I talk about Ghost Runner last time? I did.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Okay.
Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, we're not watching anything new because we're just going through the MCU stuff.
Nice.
Amazon has great shows, and they just did a show called Upload, which is about it's kind of comedy slash crime slash existential. So basically, when you die, you get uploaded, kind of like Black Mirror type shit. But it's really entertaining, really good actors. I forgot the name of the lead, but you've seen him before.
I'm glad you said something because the trailer did nothing for me.
The lead
You know
is
what?
the lead is Robbie Amell. It's Stephen Amell's brother, Green Arrow's brother.
You know what's funny? What's funny is the trailer. I saw the trailer while I was looking at something on YouTube, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll watch that." And I watched the entire series in one day. So I enjoyed it. It's tongue in cheek, but it's good. I think it's good.
All right. I watched. It's not new, but it's new to me. I finally started watching Fleabag, and watched the first season in a day, and that show's fucking great. It's very good. I will not bore you with the details, but you should watch that show. It's very good. First season 6 episodes. I think the second season 6 episodes, so you can hop, skip, and jump through it real quick. Ryan, anything new or notable you want to share?
No, but Tech, I don't think you had seen the last episode of Dave the last time we talked. Did you end up watching
Yes.
that one?
I did end up watching it. I loved how it ended. I thought it was incredible. I feel like the last 2 episodes, the way they end, are moving almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys saw the episode at the wedding speech episode?
Yep.
That's one of the best written episodes I've ever seen of any show.
I mean, the one where his buddy comes out as bipolar was fucking.
Dude,
Yeah, that was really good.
I watched that with Aaron last week, and I got moved to almost to tears again.
Yep.
His performance, like he's not a fucking actor. He's literally a rapper and a hype man, and he gave a performance that you would think a seasoned actor would give.
Yep.
Right.
Very impressive.
I mean,
Makes
that's
you
just
wonder how hard
your
acting is.
opinion, man. It's not
Makes you,
objectively good.
makes you wonder how hard acting
Hey,
is, though.
this is actually
I'm kidding.
useful information. Please.
Does that mean acting's not really that hard?
No, I tried acting once. It was so difficult. I was in a Batman fan film that ended up being like on, I forgot what, the Screen Rant or something did a top 10 Batman fan films. It was on the top 10. I was in a scene, and it was the hardest thing I've ever did in my life. Like I was like, this is a skill that I don't have. Like,
I haven't lived a very hard life.
But I mean, is acting hard, or is it easier to do when you're acting your life?
Yeah,
Because I mean, he's telling his own story, so
Exactly.
Yeah, there's
he
something
knows,
genuine.
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
they say that. The greatest actors always say,
They find
pull from
something
your own
genuine.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people. You know,
Peter Jackson told Christopher Lee to imagine what it would feel like to be stabbed in the back by a friend, and Christopher Lee turned to him on the set of Lord of the Rings and said, "I don't have to imagine."
Yeah, that makes
Yikes.
sense, man.
That dude was a
That guy-
fucking
guy's
champ.
Life history. He needs that movie.
Yeah. And
I
Lee
just saw that-
Lee Pace should play him.
I just saw that the Justice League could be cut into 6 one-hour parts for HBO Max.
Jeez. That's a lot.
That
Yeah,
tells you how much extra footage they shot.
I'm not getting HBO for this, so I need someone's login.
Do you not get it if it's not HBO Max? Do I have to spend more than $15 a month to get it?
Oh,
was that our Smurf fact, Ben? By the way.
no.
Okay.
While we're figuring that out, Ben, do you have a Smurf fact for us, or do you need to search
No,
it?
just give me a second.
Let me be very clear. If we have to pay more than the $15 a month that I'm paying for HBO so that I can get HBO Max, so that I can watch, the 3 things that are coming to it that we know of so far, I just won't do it. I just won't do it. But at the end of the show,
won't do it.
no. Or one of us will do it and we'll share it with everybody. But at the end of the show, before we wrap up, we give you one fun fact to take home and think about for the rest of the week. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're scary, sometimes they're confusing, like the fact that McDonald's made bubblegum flavored broccoli. But they're always fun because they are fun facts, and they're called Smurf facts. Tech, do you want to hit us with that soundbite?
Smurf facts. Oh yeah.
I love it. Ben, what you got?
Oh yeah.
A dozen bodies were once found in Benjamin Franklin's basement. But were you aware that the fact that multiple skeletons were found in the basement of Benjamin Franklin's London home? The bones were discovered during a 1998 renovation of the house and were identified as being from nearly a dozen people, including 6 children. The most plausible explanation is not mass murder, but an anatomy school run
Yeah.
by Benjamin Franklin's young friend and protege, William Hewson, wrote The Guardian. That's not to say there wasn't any funny business going on. The resurrection men could deliver bodies stolen from graveyards to the Thames Wharf at the bottom of the street, while there was a weekly public execution at the gallows on the other side of the garden wall. So
they used the distraction of an execution to steal bodies.
yeah.
Awesome.
And then host an anatomy school in their basement.
Yeah, because that was back in the day when when doing autopsies and shit was considered bad and was illegal. Like you got sent to prison if you did autopsy because you weren't supposed to defile the dead or something like that.
I'm glad that rule stuck, though, to be honest.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad that
it
one stuck
didn't.
around.
It didn't though, because we can do autopsy now.
I can't.
You have
No,
to have
no one in the chat can, dude.
no one could
I
in the
dissected a
world
frog.
before that. No one could in the world before that. You couldn't open up a body for science. It was illegal. So that rule does not stand anymore.
That's changed, though. I mean, that ebbs and flows through time. Sometimes it was legal, sometimes it wasn't. So
Yeah, just like in the Western world, it was not because Egyptians did it all the fucking time.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But, Western world sucks most of the time. Anyway, this has been our podcast. We record this every Wednesday, as you know. We post it on every Friday, as you know. You can find anything that Nerdy Bits does at nerdybits.com. You can support us at patreon.com/nerdybits. You can follow me specifically anywhere it's important at LubWub. I'm mostly on Twitter, but you can find me on Instagram and Xbox and PlayStation with the same tag. Ryan, where can people find you if they are interested in what you're doing? And what is your stream schedule like?
Started Sodium. I'm on Mixer, Instagram, Twitter, and Xbox. And I'm redoing the stream schedule because I am closing a lot. So I haven't streamed in like 4 days. So
Man.
I'm trying to figure that out. I will update my Twitter and Instagram whenever I figure that out.
Dope. Sounds
Hey, bye.
good. Dope. Tech, tell us where we can find you. If you have any projects you're working on you want people to know about, and what your stream schedule is like.
All right, this is
Tech Supreme.
and you can find me everywhere using Tech Supreme, YouTube Tech Supreme 1, and Twitch Tech Supreme. So check me out. I stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Just follow for the details on time.
Dope. Ben, where can people find you? What's your stream schedule like? What projects you working on?
I am Sketch Sawyer everywhere. I am streaming Monday, Wednesday, Friday from noon to 3. And I am about to start Butcher Queen 2. And I'm open to commissions forever. I'm also going to start 3D modeling. I'm going to start with ships and crafts, spacecrafts and whatnot. And I'm going to design them in 3D and put them on my website. Because I'm going to start making video games. So,
Fuck yeah.
yeah,
All right,
3D
everybody.
modeling is fun.
can be.
It's hard, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for listening. Thank you for sitting in and hanging out with us while we argue mostly about stuff. It's fun, though. It's fun. It's all in good fun. I don't hate anybody here. I get a little testy sometimes. Sorry, Ben.
It's okay. You get
Anyway.
better with age.
Play more games, everybody. And
Ask him in 10 years.
After 10 years.
if you haven't, you should. These things are fun, and fun is good. For a Silly Goose Time, right? That's the addition to that. Silly Goose Times. Take it easy, everybody. We will be streaming in a second.
Bye.
Bye.